Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to our channel Physics, where we actually learn physics. So in this lecture, we are going to talk about what are physical quantities. Okay. Uh, if you see, you have been talking about, you have been hearing about, okay, the physical quantities so far. Okay. Many times actually you have dealt with them, but you still maybe don't have any idea what are these physical quantities and what can be its actual definition. Okay, so in this video we will actually try to understand what are these physical quantities and how exactly we can define them. Okay, so let's start with our lecture. Okay, and let's see what are these physical quantities. Okay, to understand this, we are just gonna take a very simple example. Okay, an example of a bottle. You can see a bottle over here. By the way, it's a cold drink. Okay, nothing else. Okay, so you can see this bottle over here, and now just think. If you want to completely describe this bottle, okay, if you want to completely describe this bottle, what do you actually require? Okay, what do you actually require? I'm talking about scientific description of this bottle. Okay, not a general description. Like you might just say it's a blue colored, it's a yellow colored, it's red colored. I'm not talking about the color. Okay, I'm not also talking about the shape. Okay, it's conical. Okay, it's cylindrical. I don't talk about that also. Okay, yeah, they are also important in some way, but to completely describe this bottle, okay, I require few important properties about this object. Okay, so for example, I need to talk about what is the mass of this bottle. I need to talk about what is the surface area of this bottle. Okay, I need to talk about what is the volume of this bottle. Okay, I also need to talk about what is the diameter. Okay, then I also need to talk about what is the height. Okay, I need to talk about what is the diameter at the top of this bottle. Okay, at the head, okay, of this bottle. There is a liquid inside it, so it must be having some density. So what is that density? Okay, I need to talk about that also. Okay, in this way I need to talk about a lot of things actually. Okay, I need to talk about a lot of things if I have to completely describe this object over here. And it's not only about this bottle, there can be many such objects. Each and every object, when we are trying to describe it, we require to talk about lots of properties, like just now I listed over here: the mass, the volume, the surface area, okay, the density, okay, etc, etc, diameter, height, etc. Okay, so all these things are required for the complete description of this object. Okay, so I think so far so clear. Yet I have not defined what is physical quantities, but don't worry, I will. Okay, now let's complete with this example first. Now this object was stationary over here. Okay, now let's imagine that now this object is just falling down. Okay, this object is, let's say for example, falling down. Okay, now over here you not only have to describe this object, but you also have to describe this event. Now it's an event, isn't it? The falling bottle, the falling object is an event. So now you need to talk about what are the properties associated with this falling object. Okay, so what can be those? Now if I have to completely describe this event, I have to talk about what is its initial position, what is its final position, what is its displacement, what is its speed at a time? Okay, how much time did it require to fall down? Okay, then what is its acceleration? What is its momentum at a time? Isn't it? What is the force acting on it? Isn't it? These are the properties that I require if I have to describe this event, the falling bottle event. Okay, but at the same time I also require the previous properties that we required. Okay, don't worry, they will be always there. Okay, but when this stationary object now turned into this event called as a falling bottle event, now you required more properties to describe it completely. Okay, so I think so far so clear. Okay, to describe any stationary object or any falling object, or you can say just to describe any object or any event, you require to talk about lots of properties related to the object and the event. Okay, I hope that is pretty clear. Okay, these properties that you talk about, okay, these properties that you talk about are nothing but the physical quantities. The names that I have just talked about, the mass, the volume, the area, okay, the density, the force, the momentum, okay, velocity, accelerations, etc. Okay, so all these quantities that I talked about, they are called as the physical quantities. Okay, they are called as what? The physical quantities. Okay, so now you might be getting some idea what are physical quantities. Okay, all these things that you talk about. Okay, mass, volume, okay, many things. In fact, you must have learned in 10th those voltage, current, resistance, etc. Okay, so those are also physical quantities because they describe some event, isn't it? They describe the circuit. Okay, so again, that is also physical quantity. So everything that describes either an object or an event, okay, everything that describe either an object or an event can be called as a physical quantity, isn't it? So that's the simplest of the definition that you can get for a physical quantity, isn't it? Okay, so now I will exactly define what is a physical quantity. Okay, I will give you exact definition for this. Okay, it's very simple. See, just now I said for a complete description, okay, of any object or any event, I require to talk about lots of quantities, and these quantities are nothing but the physical quantities. Okay, so from this discussion we can just say, okay, the quantities that are required, to completely describe any object or any event are called as physical quantities. Okay, the quantities that are required to completely describe any object or any event are called as the physical quantities. Okay, so I hope that is pretty clear to everyone over here. I mean over there. Okay, so this is nothing but physical quantities. So now from this discussion, from this definition, it must be pretty clear to you that whether it's an object or it's an event, you definitely require physical quantities. You have to talk about physical quantities. Okay, so these are very, very, very important because see, in research also, when you go for research, when you do lots of experiments, you calculate lots of things. But what do you calculate? You actually calculate the physical quantities. Like you calculate the force, the magnetic fields, the electric fields, okay, the velocities, okay, accelerations, isn't it? What do you actually calculate? Nothing but the physical quantities. Any kind of a research, nothing but the physical quantities. Okay, so this is physical quantity. Now from this discussion, one thing is also clear. See, for describing the object we required different quantities, and for describing an event we required different quantities, isn't it? Okay, we required different quantities. So we can say here that objects and events require different quantities, okay, to describe themselves. Okay, so actually there are two categories. There are actually main two categories for the physical quantities. Okay, over here it was a stationary object, okay, and the quantities that we required was mass, volume, okay, area or density, etc. Okay, so if you see here, these quantities actually just possess the magnitude. Okay, they only have magnitude. That means they have only value. They don't have any direction. But over here if you see, momentum, force, velocity, acceleration, displacement, all these things has some direction also. Okay, at the same time they have magnitude also. Like I can say the force is 5 newtons towards east, just example. The momentum is 2 kg meter per second west. Okay, just example. So these quantities have some direction also. At the same time they have magnitude, but some quantities have only magnitude. So the physical quantities having only magnitude, okay, the physical quantities having only magnitude are called as scalars, and the physical quantities that possess magnitude as well as direction are called as vectors. Okay, again the exact definition and the complete description of these two topics will be given to you in the coming chapters, but right now this is a very rough definition, scalar and vector. Okay, rough definition, but these are also the physical quantities. Okay, the two types of physical quantities, scalars and vectors. So you should know these two quantities very well. Okay, so this is nothing but a physical quantity. Okay, physical quantity is what? A quantity that you require to completely describe any object or any event. Okay, that is nothing but a physical quantity. Okay, so I hope this is pretty clear to everyone. I hope you are enjoying this, you have enjoyed this. Okay, and most importantly you have understood the definition and the concept of this physical quantity. Okay, so with this hope I would stop here now. Okay, and I will see you in the next video where I talk about some more concepts from this chapter itself, the second chapter that we have started. Okay, so thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for listening. Have a nice day. Bye bye.